So there we go. Now. So yeah, I'm just gonna let's just fire it up one more. Now you guys know what to. Everybody knows what to do now. Everybody knows what to do, and here we go. First time we've done this. I'm not gonna do the whole thing again. I'm not gonna do the whole thing again. But yeah, so if you're just well, you are just catching up because I forgot to hit the record button earlier. We did that whole song earlier, but whatever. Anyway, welcome to the show. We don't even know what this is called yet. I'd like to just thank everybody who's here right now. Uh, I have two guests. I've got Kendall and I've got Adrian. They're both doing separate guest kind of things right now. This is we haven't. We're just doing stuff. So Adrian's playing do on is on Twitch right now, and Kendall has joined me to discuss what we should maybe do with this podcast, YouTube, whatever we want to call this thing. And we also have everyone out there in the ether who has joined us uh, from trivia before this and stuck around. So thanks for sticking around.
Everybody who has no lives, essentially, just
Oh,
ready to rock and roll and party. I mean, you're here to party with us, so I'm fine with that. So.
well, I mean, I have no life other than doing this. So you,
Hey,
I don't,
it's a cool no life to have. You know, you gotta
yeah, yeah.
just chill out with it.
Also, we could have like a whole lot more people here. You know, I wish there were more people. So if you're out there, I guess people on Twitch can. I don't know if they can hear me. But yeah, if you sign on to here, this link is available at radicaltrivia.com, and you just click on it and come into the Zoom call. You just need Zoom. That's all.
That's
Anyway, how has your day been, sir?
Oh man, I'm sorry for being late. My wife finally decided that she wanted to have a conversation about my brother-in-law and sister-in-law are having a baby. So we have a
Oh,
baby shower coming soon. And if you've never been to a baby shower, you have to buy gifts. And they bought, put on the registry, $200, $300 items for a baby. A few examples are a machine that mixes formula for you, like a $200 machine, or a brush and comb that is like $50 for a baby who has no hair. And they're like, "Can you buy this for us?" And I was like, "I can maybe buy you like pink butt cream. That's like $2."
I mean, I don't know anything about babies, but I mean, you do, and I trust your opinion when you say if it's just not necessary. It's
I
not
have
necessary.
3 kids. They're still alive. Just like all you gotta do is feed them, change them, and move on. Like they're there. And it was
Yeah,
like ridiculous. It was like, should we buy this or this? And I'm like, I'm starting to pour gasoline in myself, like an airplane when he starts talking about his drinking problem, the war. So that's why I'm here.
okay,
I got a little whiskey here now, but thank
all
you
right,
for having me.
yeah,
And I'm preparing for trivia live tomorrow. I got Friends trivia at the Oaks Theater. So if anybody wants to do some theme trivia at 7 o'clock, full Friends. So it's gonna be a party.
and if, just to be clear, that's Friends, the television show. It's going to be a theme.
I'll be there for you like I've been there before.
Indeed, indeed, and remember, everybody, there are no claps in the second verse, just the first verse. Important safety tip. uh, so you've been doing like some live events, like fairly recently. How is this? How has it been going back to like doing live stuff after?
It's weird getting back into it. So we've had to come up with like new kind of rules when we first got back into it because we were still at 25% capacity. Mask mandates were still happening. There's a lot that was like feeling it out because normally when we do bar trivia in person, you have to fill out your little piece of paper and you hand it directly to us, the host, where it's like, okay, now I have an interaction with you. Well, now the way that we did it at Inner Groove, I set up tip buckets and I was like, write your answer, put it in the bucket. I have to now go to that bucket And so I had to go around and interact with everybody during that time because they're like, we don't want 50 people moving. You can move throughout. And so it gave me really an opportunity to kind of dance around the bar a little bit more, to do some movements and kind of like look over people's shoulders and kind of get more of that interaction.
Can't have too much movement. It's impossible.
No. So you get out there and you get to really feel out the people, and you get a little bit more like, I see the whole table rather than just the one person who's constantly coming up. And so now I'm ribbing everybody at the table. I'm seeing everybody in the back.
Just a gentle ribbing.
Just a gentle ribbing for her pleasure. So simple things like that, and it's slowly built. So we had our regulars come back. A lot of people who were like telling me about the last bar trivia guy, who we do it differently than other bar trivias. Because usually a bar trivia at other places is they have like one of their own guys who is like, all right, hi, welcome to bar trivia. Quantum physics was discovered in what year by this guy? And you're like, all right, write down your answers and give me the sheets and I'll figure out who won at the end.
I really like that impression of people who work for other companies.
Yeah. Like, is that not how it is at every like, I went to a bar trivia. I was at a bar trivia in what was it? Harrisburg a couple weeks ago. They just so happened to be doing a bar trivia, and it was Family Feud, where it was like, at a survey given, I was like, I know this shit. I know this real well. So it was a survey question, and it was like, survey says, and I'm like, that's literally every one of our questions. That is at least a halftime question in every time.
You know, I do that mostly because people express how much they fucking hate that. So like, that's actually me being very spiteful towards all the people who support us.
Yeah.
So just I don't know if you knew that. Like there's like, I know there's like a couple people who really like super duper hate that, and I just do it like, so I do a lot just because, you know, if you make me aware that you don't like something, that's your mistake. You know, you should never ever do that. So.
Oh, I feel the opposite. It's usually when people are like lyrics, like song lyrics, because everybody at every bar is like, fuck yeah, song lyrics. I know songs. And then you're like, Naughty by Nature wrote what song lyric, which was actually a poem by William Shakespeare. And everybody's like, their eyes fucking, they're like, what? I didn't study that. And you're like, ha 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 ha, now I got you.
I don't know what the people in the bars that you're doing are, because usually like I sarcastically say that everyone's favorite category is lyrics, because most of the people are like, fuck!
No, every bar I always see somebody who's always like, oh yeah, we're doing movie quotes. And then I'm just like, in the movie Naked Lunch starring fucking this guy, and everybody's just like, what indie film? What? Like, are the actor or the character? And I'm just like, you got to read the words, man.
Yeah. I mean, I usually the questions are written very particularly, and so as to leave little doubt as to what every once in a while I make a mistake, and I will freely admit that. You know, sometimes, you know, you write a billion questions, some things are going to slip through the cracks every once in a while, but usually they're very particularly written, so like as to lead the thinker down a path or down a wrong path.
It's usually, the way I do it is through music. So I take very careful time choosing the songs for each of my shows, because I'm either going to play a series of songs that's going to help you or a series of songs that's going to hinder you. But I make it very clear, never trust me. And then people will start to not trust me, and that's when I'm like, you should have trusted me that time. That was your fault.
And see, that's interesting, because like I usually fly by the seat of my pants on the like the songs, you know. So like, in order to keep it sharp, I usually I don't think about what song is going to be next until I read the question again, like from earlier when I wrote it. So it kind of keeps it. Sometimes, you know, you sometimes you get a good one. Sometimes it's not appropriate for the question, but you know, I like to keep it fresh that way.
Yeah. Like usually I'll get like a hit. Like sometimes I'll come up with a song throughout the week that I'm like, oh, that'd be really good for this question. And then as I go through, I'm like, Oh, that actually isn't a good song. I have a better idea. And so I'll like disappear for a while and I'll come back with like something that is either completely off the wall, but it has something to do with the song, or I'll think of like, hey, this song has something to do with the movie that I once saw when I was 8 years old. That has a connection. I'm going to flip that around and make something new happen. And then people have to guess like why I made that connection.
Yeah, stream of consciousness is the way to go.
Yeah.
So do you think do you have any ideas as to what other things I should do with this particular podcast? Anything anything goes. So do you have any off the top of your head? Do you have any
Well,
ideas
if it is like a podcast, I think what
or
one
names
thing
even
is,
even
I
a name?
mean, if we're doing this after your trivia show, I think some things to take in consideration are some of the audience that you have, and do this as kind of like a feedback or like, hey, what did you guys like? Because some of the things that I really like after I'm done with my show is going around and individually thanking every team. Like I'll take a few moments and be like, you guys didn't win this one, but you really had me. Like some of those answers were spot on. Or I'm like, come on, guys, like you had it. You were this close, and I could tell. But sometimes you like that quick interaction. And I think when you have people who are like, hey, you guys want to hang around and chit chat about some of the questions or get some ideas or, you know, new fun topics or just get weird with it. We like to get weird on my Twitch stream where I'm just like, hey, it's chat time. What's something weird you guys want to talk about?
Yeah. I and for all the Twitch streams like yours and Adrian's, I'll have that in the description of this video when it's on the old YouTubes. But yeah, so and some ideas that I had were I was gonna start. So I've been trying to like learn some other languages. So I made a Russian video, like an introduction like in Russian because I've been watching a lot of videos of like places or about places around the world and how other people live around the world. And so just trying to like get out, I don't know, expand my horizons and stuff, and maybe have some people from like YouTubers from around the world on like, via Zoom and like talk to people and just, have them like ask each other questions because I'm just curious as to how people how people live.
Oh yeah, like if you get small time streamers from all over the place, like there are a ton from Ireland and England that I talk to all the time. And I'm pretty sure that they would love to be like, hey, we can have an interaction. Let's have them on. It'd probably be like 3 o'clock in the morning where they're at. But
Well, I could always, do it at a different time. I can accommodate people's schedules.
Oh yeah,
if anybody's out there watching, if you're around the world and you want to be on this show, don't be shy. We will accommodate you. This is
yeah,
yeah.
We're for you, the people.
But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of horse shit going on all around the world, and I'd love to talk to people about it.
Yeah, we're not the center of the goddamn universe in America,
right?
So
yeah, of course, yeah. But yeah, it was very difficult to this recent holiday was just like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing that. But like there's so many documentaries out right now where like it's pretty difficult to muster that old gung ho for that kind of holiday anymore.
Listen, I'm a part of it, so like that's one of those things where I don't think of a lot of that. If the holiday is Memorial Day, right? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. And without
Like,
without getting too much into the weeds with that sort of thing, it was just like,
yeah.
I was just feeling that way over the weekend.
Oh no, I understand. A lot of people are kind of like, this is not the thing we should be doing, and I can respect that. But I'm in the same vein where I'm like, okay, there are a few people who I have met in my time who have gone that way, and it's just like, all right, I'm gonna show the respect to those people and not to the ideas, And so there's a fine line to such things. Not to get too deep into it, but we can move on from that. But yeah, I'd love to have more people from around the world who are like, yeah, let's talk. Like, what do you guys talk about in America? You guys have this? Like, I saw that video you posted on the guy from Cuba who sees American grocery stores for the first time.
Yeah, that's pretty difficult to watch.
yeah, it's like at first you're like, okay, he's either going to be super impressed and be like, wow, this is kind of cool. And then after like 2 minutes of him going into an Aldi's where it's like, this is the cheap version of our food. And he's just like, this is, you have how many butters? You have more than one versions of butter? And we're like, you don't? He's like, wow, ice cream. Like you can just get that. You just
Yeah.
go somewhere and you're like, we take that for such granted that we're just like, yeah, I can literally walk into anywhere. It doesn't even have to be a grocery store half the time. I could just walk into like a Sheets
Yeah.
and just be
But
like, I'm gonna get some ice cream.
for those of us who are watching and have not seen this video, I'll link the video in the description too. But it's essentially the beginning of the video describes how life in Cuba has been for several generations now, where like uh, she compares the situation to here whenever the pandemic was happening and some stores were very low on things and nothing on the shelves was useful at all. Apparently that's just how it is in Cuba. I have not been to Cuba. Um, but apparently you just can't get anything anytime anywhere, and it just looks like that. And uh without getting too deep into it, it's a worthwhile video watching, because like this man can't he is overwhelmed with the how much is in an Aldi, and he has to leave because it upsets him so much that like there could be such a stark difference between where he's from and what the things were that are available here.
Yeah. So, but I'm kind of half into like what is happening in our conversation, but also I'm watching Adrian do her thing, and I'm just like,
Oh yeah, we can take a glance over here at the big screen. Yeah,
it, we're playing. What is this game? What are we playing?
this is Rogue Legacy. Is this Rogue Legacy 2? I think. I'm not sure
Okay.
how far the delay is, but if it's Rogue Legacy 2, Adrian, give it a thumbs up. I'm not sure if she can hear us on the Zoom call, or if there's still a delay or whatever, or if she can hear us at all. But looks like she's kicking ass so far.
Looks like she's getting. It looks very much like Hollow Knight.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
there you go.
I played the first one of these games, and like I beat the shit out of it because it's a lot of fun. Um, but I have not played the second one yet.
Yeah, we definitely have a little bit of delay on that, but she definitely gave us a thumbs up.
Okay, all right, that's cool. All right.
You get 5 minutes later, Adrian's finally like, yes, it is Rogue Legacy 2. Moving on.
Well, and what's really weird is we can type in the chat and then we'll get there faster. But obviously, you know, her hands are busy right now, so we'll just
She's busy.
continue.
She's over here kicking ass. Let her do her
Oh
thing.
man, those fucking cross things. Fuck those
Ooh.
fiery cross things.
Oh wow. Look at her go.
So, Kendall, are you familiar with this game at all?
No, it looks very Metroidvania though. So it's right up my alley.
All right, so it looks like this is pretty similar to the previous one. So, every time you die, it's a procedurally based or procedurally generated map every time.
Okay.
And so every time you die, it's different. And so each character that you're offered at the beginning is unique and has different abilities.
Okay.
And so once the character you're using dies, its portrait goes up, and like then you can look at the portraits of all the characters, like all their names and shit that have died previous. So that's pretty cool.
So it's like Into the Gungeon. If you've never played that,
I have not played it.
that is it's a very much like a top-down shooter, like Contra in the second levels. Very much like to that style where it is procedurally generated, and you die and then you go to the beginning of the dungeon, and it's a like constant recreation of the world every time you die.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome.
So that would be the equivalent there. That's a pretty fun one there.
Okay.
But no, this is pretty rad to watch. It's very much like Castlevania. It's the Metroidvania style. It's like Hollow Knight.
Yeah, I love the art too. It looks like it runs real smooth.
Yeah, it looks great. She's doing well. She's dodging balls left and right. Took a little hit there, like a bitch, but she's moving on, pressing forward, taking out the barrels. No, climbing the barrels. I'm gonna do full
you don't
commentary.
you don't just take out barrels willy nilly. You gotta. There we go. You know, that's
Boom. You
yeah.
gotta do it with some style. Look at that.
Boom. Very nice.
Proud of her.
Anyway,
Very
so
proud of her.
yeah, I think this is a pretty cool way to like, you know, kind of have a visual thing going on while we're bullshitting about things. And
It's been a while since I've been able, like, so fun fact, with Regamers, for my channel and everything else that I've tried to create, this was kind of the style that we were going for originally when we first started our show. That we wanted to just bullshit and play video games, because what are the two things I know? Bullshitting and playing video games. So this would be the equivalent to that.
well, I mean, I think a good way is to have someone else playing the video games while, like, you know, you're bullshitting with, or whatever else is, you know, like, because it's hard to play video games and bullshit at the same time, especially if you're the one playing and you haven't played something before.
Oh yeah, well that's when you shut your mind off. That you have to go into a very zen-like state in order to be able to perform in that level, which is like what I have to do all the time for my streams, because I just turn the mind off and everything just comes out as people are chatting to me. I interact with the words that are happening, as well as like I'm not even thinking about what's happening on screen. And I
Well,
have
you
to,
couldn't be.
you
I can't.
can't. You have to just kind of move on instinct.
For those of us
And
that aren't aware, just if I just sorry for those of us that aren't aware, this person that's talking right now beat Dark Souls, and there's video proof of it.
I did do it. I parry god the hell out of that final boss. So it took, I think the final count was like 328 deaths was the final count.
Fuck me.
Well, that's the other thing. I have a friend who, in my Discord channel, he beat the game hitless, like without getting hit. For Dark Souls 1, I don't know if he did 2, 1 and 3. So he did those without getting hit once.
That's it sends a chill down my spine to hear things like that.
Like, well, there are people out there who've beaten Dark Souls on like Guitar Hero guitars.
Yeah, I've seen some videos on YouTube about things like that. That's
There are some
man.
incredible people out there who, some of the top players are like Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, all 3 together without getting hit. Like you have to go through 1, then 2, and then 3. And I think the guy got to the final boss on 3, got hit, and had to restart all the way at the beginning.
Well, I mean, you know, what would be the point of all the pain and sacrifice if he wasn't willing to stand up and fight?
I feel like if you were to do that, Jared, I think you would be able to do it. I honestly do. If there was a challenge issue to you, say, I don't know, Perfect Dark. Like N64 Perfect Dark, speed run or hitless, one of the two.
Yeah.
I feel like with your amount of persistence, that you'd be able to do it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the confidence. But when you say it like that, Perfect Dark, I do feel much more confident that if someone pissed me off enough, and I had to say, okay, you know what, fuck you, I'm just gonna do that. Then I think you're right. Yeah, but it has to be a game that I was already confident in. You know,
I feel like if I went back to high school, we're back at the schoolyard. One of our many friends who were like, you couldn't beat Perfect Dark without being hit. I feel like you would spend an entire weekend just doing it out of spite. And you would have.
I'm not. I mean, yeah,
There's no doubt
right.
in my mind, because you're a completionist.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair.
I mean, not to toot my own horn or anything. Yeah, I would beat the shit out of it, and then him, and then
well, we'd never do something like that.
I would make him regret his decisions and fuck him in all he believes in. So there we are.
Well, it's not, you don't have to hurt anybody. It's only satisfying if they say out loud that you win.
All right, you did it.
Yeah,
you're like, yeah, and don't forget it.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Anyway.
Anyway, now that I sound like Dennis Reynolds, I guess we should end this because that's pretty much long enough. I'll go through and edit this stuff. But thanks to my guests, we got Kendall and we got Adrian serving their unique functions in this strange thing that's happening right now. So
We're
thanks
starting
to both
something.
of you. Yeah, and I'll see everybody next time. I've been talking to some other people as guests, so we'll see what we can do. Everybody have a wonderful time of day wherever that you happen to be, and I'll just fire up the old theme music here to fade it out. And yeah, thanks for watching / listening or whatever you're doing. And remember, if someone asks you if you are a god, you say yes. We'll fade this theme music back in because I faded it out earlier.
And I'll catch you on the flip side.
Now I'll stop recording this. 1 second.
I feel like we need to come up with like something to actually go off of. Like to keep it